Ever feel like being stuck? Not in a void, just oscillating in a perpetual cycle. Somewhere in between poverty and wealth. Feeling like progress is always outpaced by never enough. Grateful to have overcome so much and thankful not to have the problems of others. Yet your relentless efforts keeps you just slightly behind the pace of progress. It's like living in the past, present, and the future at once, with feet on both the gas and the brakes at the same time. But somehow, you manage it well, judging by the faces of the people around you. So well that sometimes even the W's, which cause for celebration, is overshadowed by the anticipation of the next shoe dropping. Experience keeps you mentally sound, yet resilience has an insatiable appetite for your emotions. It can feel like being stuck in a torrance field, immense energy, and its only purpose is to consume, refuel, and repeat itself in a slow, diminishing cycle. It took many lessons and a lot of self-evaluations before my neurons kicked in and started connecting the dots. Patterns, like karma, persist until lessons are learned. So here's what I learned. For the very observant, pattern recognition and the ability to spot differences, especially what's out of place, is beyond normal. We rely on our observations to identify, compartmentalize, and catalog information, then disseminate facts and contradictions to validate what we perceive. However, we're still human, and perceptions are often predicated by our beliefs and expectations. Most analytical thinkers see through a wider lens and tend to focus on the how and the why. Thought neurons are sent out like lightning strikes for the purpose of collecting all information available to gain an overall perspective. However, the tendency to overthink creates latency and periods of stagnation as the volume of data overwhelms the capacity to ingest and identify a solution. You may be somewhere in between. Your pattern recognition is on point, able to identify each element, where it appeared and why. You may see behind the veil how the psyops embedded in our information diets are used to manipulate emotions and condition the mind.
We struggle against it. We fight.
You may even rely on your instincts and intuition as a virtual compass. But being a disciple of your own wisdom, we can't ignore the fact that the flags and triggers developed from past experiences have the most significant impact on our
We
discernment.
are all victims of causality.
The diversity between perception and perspective are sometimes skewed, often treating them as opposing energies. But on the contrary, perception is a semblance, and perspective is an evaluation of it. Neither is finite, but together work cohesively as an effective measurement tool in the decision-making process.
Cause? There is no cause for this. What cause?
We've been programmed from birth to choose a side. You're either this or you're that. Black or white. Rich or poor. Or red or blue. They want us to believe that success is based on the result of our efforts, while constantly raising the bar, insulating us from the actual resources required to succeed, and bombarding us with misinformation. They want us to blame ourselves for not having enough, that it's the result of mismanaged resources or misaligned relationships. We question ourselves. Are expectations too high? Or are we just never satisfied? Then they'll reinforce it using the information we provide with algorithms that convolute lack mentality and false narratives of success. Then further manipulate our emotions by placing pressure and discomfort around being indecisive. As judgment of normalcy or weirdness nervously paces back and forth while we deliberate. There's no time for deliberation. The clock is ticking. We made the choice obvious. In fact, we've already chosen for you. They don't want us thinking. They want us following. However, Contemplation is where all the elements reside in one place. We sift through the collective information, weighing it against intentions, possible outcomes and consequences, refining our thoughts and narrowing them down before initiating a course of action. And when the actions don't align with intended results, we make adjustments. For example, at one point or another, many of us had to change directions and go down a different path. Situations change, people change, or we were misinformed. And when things don't go as planned, or perhaps made us question our moral compass, we had to take a different route, even though some would consider the decisions we made questionable. Regardless, we had to dig deep, reprogram, trust in self, and brave the unknown. Yet it was on those different pathways we acquired new tools, information, and resources that became invaluable. We didn't let it change our will and determination. That's what kept us vigilant. We had to put things in perspective, frisk our intentions, and make adjustments. Will is a ubiquitous driving force with infinite energy to create or destroy. It has no built-in directions or instructions. Doesn't care if it's coming from a light or dark place.
Bad news is there's no way.
It doesn't look back to see who's driving. However, intent is a sagacious, conscious, specific set of thoughts and actions. It too is a driving force with infinite energy to create or destroy. Both are dominant forces, both devoted to getting you what you want, but only one determines what you're willing to do and at what cost. We've been conditioned to measure the W's and the L's with precision to determine how our value and status is perceived, but tend to diminish the value of the experience perspective in the process, overlooking their unique qualities as cohesive tools. Much like perception and perspective, will and intent are cohesive tools. We provide the code of instructions that combines their unique energy into a codependent, symbiotic cycle. The in-between is where our code is developed.
Is it over?
Our thought processes, perceptions, and perspectives are all analyzed and tested against the result. If we coherently frisk our intentions, we inherently control the direction of our will. Though success is still measured by the wins, it must also meet the criteria set by our intentions to be considered successful. And when the L's and W's are no longer measured by the progress of the status needle, the measurement tool becomes strictly the effectiveness of the code. All the power exists within the code. If we're vibing, congratulations. You're now a coder of the in-between. You direct the elements of the Taurus. You surf the line between the yin and the yang. You see perceptions and perspectives as cohesive tools used to formulate the code of intent that directs your will. So the next time you feel stuck in the in-between, remember how powerful you are.
Do not try and bend the spoon. That's impossible. Instead, only try to realize the truth.
What truth?
There is no spoon.
There is no spoon?
Then you'll see that it is not the spoon that bends, it is only yourself.